Hello, everyone. I'm delighted to join you this evening. Thank you to Americans for Democratic Action and to this evening's honorees and participants for all you do to stand up for social, economic, and racial justice, for sustainable environmental policies and smart foreign policies as well. I think you know this work has never been more important. And it means a lot to have leaders like ADA waging these fights, not only at election time, but year-round. This organization is one that has really been admirable for so long. For starters, you have a terrific history, and I've been grateful to have your support in my campaigns. But tonight I have a very special privilege. I get to introduce Yolanda Caraway, an entrepreneur, author, and brilliant strategist, as well as a really good friend. She has worked with everyone from Fortune 500 companies to government agencies to presidents, helping to shape policies, craft messages, and bring diverse groups of people together to tackle some of the biggest challenges we face as a country. Whenever I know that Yolanda is involved, I know you're going to hear smart commentary, bold ideas, bottomless expertise. You're going to hear from someone who really walks the walk. With that, I have the honor of turning things over to the one and only Yolanda Caraway.
Hillary! Oh my God, when they told me you were going to introduce me, I almost lost it. Let me get myself together. Deep breath, exhale. Good evening. Or whatever time it is in Zoom land. Thank you, Secretary Clinton, for that amazing introduction. I'm truly honored, and it's so good to see you, even though we're not in the same room. And thank you, Americans for Democratic Action, for bestowing me with the Win Newman Lifetime Achievement Award. For those of you who are not familiar with him, Win Newman was an early ADA organizer and fierce warrior for equality and justice throughout his lifetime. I'm so honored to receive this award named after him. When Amy first approached me last year about being honored, it was originally supposed to be me and my co-authors of For Colored Girls Who Have Considered Politics, Mignon Moore, Donna Brazile, and Leah Daughtry. Beginning the four of us together at one time is more than a notion under normal circumstances. Then Corona happened, and everyone and everything was thrown off course. So here we are, or I suppose I should say, here I am to represent. The four of us met 30 plus years ago in the heat of a new era in American politics. At a time when Black people were finding a voice through a new movement. It started in 1984 when Jesse Jackson first ran for president. And in 1988, when Reverend Jackson ran a second time, this time with more knowledge, support, and inspiration than the first time, we had our first real-time experience of being in the room where it happened. We never would have had these experiences working on any of the other campaigns. This was our movement, and this was our time. We took what we learned from this experience, speaking up, speaking out, and speaking truth to power, and have used these dynamics throughout our careers. We were young and had different backgrounds, but the same goals, always to lift up our people. This is something we have shared throughout our friendship and careers. In 2018, we published a book because we wanted to tell our story of four little colored girls who grew up wanting to make a difference in the world, and we wanted to encourage all the little girls to find their own way. We've received numerous accolades and praise from around the world, but none more poignant than the one I'm about to share with you. Last year, on one of our book talks, we met a young girl named Eden Wilson, who until recently lived in Washington, D.C. and was very involved in the Southeast Tennis and Learning Center, where I volunteer from time to time. Last week, I was pleasantly surprised to see Eden's review of our book on her YouTube book review site called Lemon Nerdy. Love it. What really moved me was Eden's depth of understanding. At 13 years old, the same age where I started in the first chapter of our book. She goes through passages and breaks them down and talks about how she can relate to us at the same age. This was all the validation I needed after 35 years that we did our job and we opened up new horizons for young people by sharing our experiences. It showed me that now, more than ever, it's so important for us to tell our stories. And so important that young people have positive role models to look up to and learn from, and that they learn the truth and to never hide from it. I hope you enjoy this edited version of Lemon Nerdy's book review as much as I did.
So in general, this book is about their journey through their political careers, the joys and struggles of being a Black woman in politics, and there's also a little bit of comedy sprinkled in. I thought Donna was really, really funny, and it's just really, really nice to hear stories of Black women making their way up, because I feel connected to them somehow. I don't know why, but it just felt very personal when I was reading it. So it's like almost like an emotional roller coaster. They take you everywhere in this book. It talks about the several presidential campaigns that they worked on, how they got first involved in politics, how they grew up, how they encouraged others to get involved in politics, all the way up to their current careers. Here is one of my favorite passages from the book. This one is from Yolanda Caraway. Yolanda adds that planning an inaugural with the Republicans still in office presented unique challenges. Quote, "Everything was so intense. It was very frustrating." End quote. VIPs were allotted a certain number of tickets to various events depending on their status. Most people could only buy 2 per event. But, as Yolanda remembers, quote, "Every day there was somebody who wanted more than 2 tickets. We had people who wanted to buy whole tables and multiple tickets for events. Every day, Camellia would go into the huge room that housed all of the computers used to handle ticket sales, to add people, to change the numbers, and every morning it never failed. When the staff came back, the numbers had been changed." Quote, "We just knew we were being sabotaged by the Republicans because we were in the Navy Yard, in a Navy building that was still under their control. So they still had control over everything. It was horrible. It was the worst thing. Looking back, I can see that that was my first experience with hacking."
Eden is going to go on to do amazing things. I just know she will. I'm going to be watching and I hope you will be too. I accept this award on behalf of my sister authors and colored girls and colored boys everywhere who are finding their voices, their power, and their truth. And a heartfelt thank you to Americans for Democratic Action for valuing us and our work throughout our careers. This is why we do what we do. Thank you.